Hello and welcome to another episode of Event Icons live from Connect Marketplace here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Woohoo!
And we're very excited. We have some incredible guests to join us on the show. We have a really cool set here. Frisco gave us some pillows. We've got Oakland stage. It's been a great time. We're really excited. You can't see it, but there are a million things happening behind the cameras right now. We've got tons of guests, tons of experiences going on the show floor. Appointments just ended. They have an incredible pink out happy hour right now for breast cancer. They're doing a lot of breast cancer research stuff. But we have some amazing guests here who've joined us, and we want to introduce them to you right now.
It's Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, so you know what that means. It's time for another episode of #Event Icons, presented by Endless Events. The show where you get to ask the icons of the events industry anything. Just go to www.event-icons.com to ask questions. Our iconic guests will answer them live during the entire show. Before we get started, the more people we have watching, the better the conversation. So please help share #Event Icons on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Just tell your friends to watch at www.event-icons.com. Now, without any further delay, this is #Event Icons.
So today, actually, since Alex mentioned the pink out, what we're going to get started with is actually Buddy from Tattoo Charlie.
Hello.
Who is joining us this year. So one of the cool things is they've made, who is actually sponsoring it? Tell us a little about who Tattoo Charlie is.
Sure. Well, Tattoo Charlie was my dad.
Right.
He started the business in 1973, and he passed away in 2007, and I took over the day-to-day operation of the business at that point. And we do charity events and stuff during the year. We donate a lot of things to pretty much anybody that walks in the door with a charitable cause. We'll donate a gift certificate to.
I love it.
And then the Connect Expo contacted us to be a part of this and to do cancer ribbon tattoos as part of their donations for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation.
So basically every tattoo you do on one of the attendees here, the proceeds go to the charity, correct?
Yes. Every tattoo we do, the Connect Expo is donating $1,000 per tattoo to Breast Cancer Research Foundation.
Amazing?
That's amazing.
Wow.
Now, for those who don't know, what we mean by like a pink ribbon tattoo is literally getting tattooed on the show floor, and it's just the pink ribbon, so you can't like walk up and be like, I want a Pikachu tattoo. No, it's just the ribbons, and it's for an amazing cause. So how many people have actually gotten tattooed on the show floor?
I think we've done maybe 40, 45 at this point. And
45.
we still have several people waiting for today and a full list of people waiting for tomorrow.
Full list tomorrow. So we're going to be about 100 people towards the end.
That's my hope. I'd like to see us hit 100.
So that's $100,000, hopefully, that'll be going towards research, which is incredible. And props to Connect, but also to the attendees who are here getting the tattoos, which
Absolutely.
is incredible, right? So, and I think for people who, what would you say the percentage is of people who are getting their first tattoo?
I don't know the percentage, but I know we've had at least 5 people getting their first tattoo over the last 2 days.
So, like, talk about a story about your first tattoo, right?
Yes,
Like,
everybody's got a
it's
first
on trade
tattoo
show
story.
floor.
Well, it's so funny because this is this is a trend at this point, because at IMEX Frankfurt, we had the ones that were doing the Maori, and then here we have it for charity. And so from a experiential, like really talk about participation and discipline, you're coming in and you're really committing from this one. So how difficult is it to have a tattoo booth at your trade show? Because I feel like there's the safety and the compliance and all the things that make an event planner's heart go pitter-patter.
Absolutely. The conversations that we had leading up to this from the get-go were communication about liability insurance and health inspections and how to maintain a safe field around the studio area. All of those logistical things are less of a concern when you go with a well-known, reputable studio in whatever area you're in.
And then this is not the only event that you do where you help do this. You were telling us earlier before we started filming that you do one that's completely all different types of cancers, right?
Yes. Every fall we do a benefit called Tattoos Against Cancer, where we tattoo from 9 a.m. until 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. I have 8 artists that work that event, and usually we raise around $10,000 to $12,000 each year for a local charity. It's 100% for donations to a local cancer charity called Megan's Mountain, and they work typically with children's charities. Started by a friend of mine who had cancer and sadly passed away, but she started the foundation to help kids who are going through cancer treatment. The money doesn't go to research; it goes to practical life, trying to actually help them get through just the day-to-day of having cancer.
So for anyone who's at home or watching this later or listening to this later, if you were interested in having a tattoo group come and do tattoos on your show floor, what would that process be like?
Sure. As with any type of booth, anything that you're setting up on in a convention scale like this, planning far out is helpful. Most studios are going to have customers already booked for the next month, 2 months sometimes further out than that. Usually for us, it's about 2 months. And so we were able to not take any appointments for these artists that I've got out here so that we could do this event rather than be, stuck in the studio. Because it's fun to get out of the studio and do something like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's lots of details that go into it, and I know we were talking about maybe having you come back for a full time, but we wanted to go because we have so many guests today, so thank you so much, buddy. You are fantastic. And
absolutely.
Donating your time for this cause is something that we are thrilled to death that we had you be a part of.
Well, we're really excited to be here. Thank you to Connect for inviting us out to be a part of it.
Fantastic. Well, as it might have given you stress to talk about maybe having a tattoo artist, though I think Buddy has alleviated some of our concerns. Joining us next is Josue, who is actually here to really deal with stress for event planners. And we have a funny side story before we kind of get on. So Will Curran, one of our hosts, we joke a lot about, the stress he carries with him, but he actually threw his back out.
Yes.
Tossing a pelican case. And so we have hands-on experience with our friend Josue from Tired Souls.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about how you're involved with Connect and what you're doing here.
Well, Dahlia Plus Agency, they were the ones that contact me. I travel with them to probably about 8 shows a year. And every show we talk about how is it that we could tie in wellness and just relaxation into event planners' lives, especially people who travel for a living. So what happens is that I either am the speaker, or how I first started was doing posture analysis. I would stand with an iPad, take pictures of people, and basically tell them how crooked they are.
So it's like the person with the event binder. They're sitting there in the corner all hunched down.
And so the funny part about it is that this is, I think, the 3rd year that I've been at this event. So I have people that have the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd year pictures.
Has their posture gotten better?
Most of them have. But the funny part is that whenever we're walking, or I'm walking, or I say hi just casually, hey, friend, how you doing? Everybody's posture immediately starts to change.
I know. I feel like I should be sitting up.
Well,
we really like the pillows from Frisco. Thank you.
The problem that creates is that it makes you look like you're having a seizure. That's the problem. But not only do I do the posture analysis, and then that led me to start talking about more of what I really love, and which is being relaxed, being calm, slow down. All of the things will happen anyway. So just like we were talking before,
Well, and I think it's important to talk about, even with Buddy and the tattoos, the experience of attending an event, and a lot of us in the industry will attend multiple events throughout the year, but for some people, they attend one conference or one trade show a year, and that's it. And to remember the experience not only of the mind, but also of the body, right?
Exactly.
Because I think a lot of people don't realize the stress of attending an event, especially if they only do it once a year. It's not a familiar experience for them. So when it comes to the wellness and the mind and the body thing, what are your recommendations for bringing that to your attendees at your conference?
So one of the talks that I do is the 5 easy things that you could do to improve your health. So and these are things that all of us can do. It's very quick. It doesn't cost anything. And it's not the typical go work out. So
who has time to do that on site anyways?
Exactly.
I know people who do every morning. It's not me.
Every year I come with the plan to work out. It never happens. But something as simple as, how much water have you had today? There's the first day that I came, some of these events have more hydration than others. But the first day that I came, there was literally very few water resources. That's the first thing. The second thing is, take care of your feet. Most of us don't do that, so we're walking around, especially you ladies have pretty shoes on. Most of them are very uncomfortable.
Boy, I can work 22 hours in these.
Exactly. Well, they're very cute.
Well, thank you.
However.
Right, not the best for my soles, the podiatrist tells me.
And as soon as you take them off, the first thing you do is, right? Third thing is, did you sleep well? How was your sleep? Okay, so those are the additional things. You have the fourth that I always talk about is watch your posture. So with your posture, it goes hand in hand with stretching. So once you start learning that in stretching, I don't mean take a yoga class. All I'm saying is 5 to 10 minutes before your day gets started, just reach, stretch, move around so that can. And lastly, you need to be mindful of relaxing, whatever that means to you. And so by relaxing, I mean taking some time and breathing. So just whether that means 5, 10, 15 deep breaths, and then go on with your day. That should not take you more than 10 to 15 minutes. And then by the time you get to where you're going to be, that your level of anxiety decreases immensely.
I mean, I don't know. There's all these mindfulness lounges that I've always been trying to do it, but if you're working the trade show booths or you're running around in an environment like this, how can a planner really find those meditative moments?
Well, actually, we created one in the Frisco, Texas space. So what I'm doing there is I have diffusers with doTERRA essential oils, and we have these big bean bags that they look super comfy. I have people sit down, and I have earphones with iPads that have 5 to 7 minute meditative mantras or a guided meditation or just relaxation music. All it takes is 5 minutes for you to just stop, take a breath, allow things to reset, and then make it work. If your computer was not working, what would you do?
Panic.
Yeah. Other than kick
yeah,
it.
I was like, there was like this whole moment. I was like, is my computer not working? It's like, is your cell phone broken? And you're just like, oh, the deep breathing.
Exactly.
So for someone who is a novice, someone who is not used to taking care of themselves because they are so full of stress, and I know a lot of planners out there are like this, they put the work before themselves. What's at risk if you don't do this?
Well, basically your health. It's like the best way that I could describe it is if you never change the oil in your car, or if your car had low gas and the gas needle is saying E, at some point your car is going to stop and it's not going to start again. We could always get a new car, right?
Can't get a new body.
You cannot get a new body. And the best way that I describe it is if your car was a Bentley, would he take care of it as a Bentley or like a Hyundai? Some Hyundais, don't get me wrong, are very awesome. I'm not trying to throw the shade at anybody, but it's not a Bentley.
Right.
Okay? So that's my recommendation. And it does not require lots of time. It just requires planning to do it. So once you put it in your schedule, 10 to 15 minutes, it happens.
You hear that, planners? Plan to do it.
That's what I was saying. Like that, like, I never even thought of that. It's like putting the reminder in to eat lunch. Like, did you do this today? Just like one more 15-minute increment of good.
Well, one of my talks, I actually tell planners, every hour to every hour and a half, set an alarm for it to say beep, beep, beep. And if you have a team of people, you could all put a push notification, or you could have whether Slack or whatever device that you use. See, I'm already using planner terms.
Yeah, I know.
We
bring you in like that.
Exactly. They bring me in. It's like, it's like.
We'll have you talking about BEOs before you know it.
Before you know it, and
And then you're going to make that 6 a.m. meeting, and Tess will love you again.
Oh, you know what? Yes, she will. We will be speaking the same language. Funny story, we were at lunch, and she's telling me for a future event that we're doing 2 events back to back, and she's using all this lingo that I had no idea. She said, you're doing twos, right? You're doing twos. And I'm like, I don't know what twos is. But she's like, 2 events, and I'm like, oh, yeah. One up after another, yeah, I'll be there.
So if there were a planner who was interested in bringing you on site, how could they get a hold of you? How could they find you?
Well, they could reach us through Dahlia Plus
Okay.
Agency. That is the easiest way. We have a full team and a full staff that can provide information on a complete level of either wellness, massage. We do additional things that are with talks and additional programs that we provide. And they also have a side that is a talk, tech talk or whatever the needs are. We could fill them.
Great.
Well, this has been amazing, Josue. I love what you do. I need to be better about it, so thank you for the continual reminders. Like, I actually forgot my watch this morning, so I'm going to have to set up an accountability partner. But we will definitely be seeing you at future shows. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And for putting Will's back into alignment.
And I'm sure that he is going to need another adjustment before
He really
the event is over.
is.
So we already have a plan. We
Yeah,
already got
it's
we
gonna-
already got a schedule. So
Yeah.
you see what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
We're going to do
can't-
twos
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna do twos.
I love it.
We can't do the show without Will. You know, he's behind the camera right now, but you'll be upset to hear that he lifted one of these couches onto the stage.
Oh,
So probably against doctor's orders.
well, I already told them that couch looks mighty nice for an adjustment.
I love it. Well, Jose, we'll be able to catch up with you later and see you at the Future
Thank you.
Connect shows. Thank you so
I
much.
really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate having you.
So what's really exciting now, Alex, is we're going to go from mindfulness to basically raging against the machine.
Okay.
And so one of my favorite things is Edwin and Yaya are going to be here to talk about Rage Ground. And you've heard of escape rooms, right?
Yes.
You just did one with Will in
Yep.
Tucson, I think. Essentially, these folks are bringing planners in to break stuff. Is that correct? So let's make sure your mic is on.
Is it on? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think we're good over here. So tell me a little bit about, like, I've been calling you affectionately my rage against the machine people because, like, mindfulness is good, right?
Yeah.
But, like, there are days when everything goes wrong and you just want to break the things.
No, yeah, definitely. And we actually have people that come in regularly, like, because we have a storefront in Los Angeles, and in LA we have people that come in maybe bi-weekly or like once a month, twice a month, and we've offered them memberships to come and just break stuff. And it's mostly lawyers, really.
So
People,
I
lawyer
love
firms,
that.
healthcare. Oh,
So for those of you just tuning in or wondering what we mean by break stuff, we literally mean break stuff.
that is correct.
So maybe we roll back for a second.
Yeah.
Explain what Rage Ground is and how you hooked up with a bunch of crazy event planners here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Definitely. So I guess Rage Ground really is a place where you can come to break things in a safe space, an environment where you can let out all your emotions or really just do it for the entertainment value. Right now we're offering just to break plates, But we do offer like martini bottles, beer bottles, wine glasses, computers, printers, desktops.
Various items, such as like a stoplight one time even. It was crazy.
Yeah, we do all types of things. And
Can we get a car and like a mallet?
So,
That would be
I mean, it's
amazing.
like very office. Like I'm imagining where they have the printer and they're just like wailing on it, and I'm like, oh yes,
That's
That's
just literally what it is,
that's
though.
what it is.
just,
Now,
I mean, makes
Do
me
these
so
get
happy.
filmed also so I can watch
Yes.
later?
So you've
Yes.
probably seen us like on the Kardashians, the Vanderpumps.
Oh my God!
We've
yeah,
had Kat
you are.
Von D. Yeah, that's us.
That's us. Everyone has come up to us
Yes,
and
that's
asked,
us.
that's us.
That makes your street cred that much better. I mean, you were already up there.
I know.
But
I always
I
drop
mean,
those names
hood.
first.
Tattoos, mindfulness, and raging. I feel like, yeah. It's just
I mean, we just went from like one extreme to another.
really
I
did.
feel like.
and so
But it's also intuitive with it, you know, because we're letting out stress, which lowers your blood pressure.
because then you can go and be
Yeah.
mindful, because you know you have those days where you're like, listen, I can be mindful, but oh my God, I just need to hit something first.
Yes.
Exactly what we're
So-
here for.
Did they call you up and say, did Connect call you up and say, look, event planners are one of the top 5 most stressful jobs in the world, and we think you'd be great to have at our event?
That's basically what they said. And then we're like, we don't want to pay. And they're like, all right, we'll just bring you in. We're like, okay, I guess then.
So much
Like
connect.
that's the stuff that stresses suppliers out, and
Yeah.
you're like, no, it's cool. We'll just charge you extra in case the liability insurance
Yeah.
doesn't work out. I like that a lot.
So have you had a lot of people come to just break things?
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, all day long. Like, they're not even angry sometimes. They just want to throw
They
a
just
plate.
throw a plate.
Yeah, they're
Right.
like, what is this? Let's try it out. And then they, like, honestly, then they understand the concept, you know?
Yeah, and
It's a
even
lot of
people
fun.
that don't want to break it, they just love watching it too.
Oh,
Just
well,
like,
no, because it's like watching a
feeling of
car
everything.
accident, but no one has died.
Exactly. You're
Exactly.
absolutely right, though.
And to answer your question from earlier about the car, we're opening up a second location a little bit south of LA, and we will have car
Yes.
smashing
Garden
there.
Grove.
I mean, I
Yes.
feel like that's an opportunity for Biz Bash
I
and David.
feel
We should
like
tell
this
him.
is
Oh,
a field
Biz Bash.
trip, an
We've been
event
to Biz
icons
Bash.
field trip.
Yes.
We're
Come
gonna
to
go.
California.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's actually a good question. So you aren't based here in Louisville, no?
No, we're not.
So you are based in LA. So how would somebody, if they were wanting to bring an event like this to their event and help their attendees experience the same catharsis of fun?
Yeah, definitely. So we do have a tent. It's like a red and black tent. It fits in like a 12 by 12 space where we can break like plates and stuff like that. Or we also have an actual room that resembles what we have at our local state place, where it's plexiglass and plywood. We did an event for Warner Brothers where we set that up for them for Mortal Kombat. And we decorated the whole thing with like fake blood and stuff like that. People came in, they broke like these huge printers, glass, and just smashing things all over the
So
place.
it's a branding opportunity too,
Yeah.
right? Like you could get your
I love how he finds
sponsors
the
to
non-dues revenue
sponsor
opportunity
something,
there for us. It's good stuff.
right? So you could get your sponsors on site to sponsor something like that
That's
and bring
correct.
it to your event,
That's correct. Yeah, we're always open for sponsorship opportunities and things like that.
which is a great experiential opportunity for your sponsors.
That is correct, yeah.
So there's social media, there's sponsorship, and then there's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So really, I'm not seeing any down.
No, Rage Ground is so absolutely well-rounded. It's for everybody. Like, honestly, it's for any kind of person.
Do you have any age
individual.
restrictions?
Yeah, 13 and up.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then are there any health restrictions? Like, do they have to sign a form?
Yeah, we
beforehand?
do have a waiver as long as they don't have any heart problems or like if they're pregnant. Sadly, our insurance doesn't allow it. Other than that, almost anyone else can participate.
I mean,
That's
I feel like
awesome.
pregnancy we need to figure out a way against that, because
Yeah.
I've never been so angry except when I've been
So
pregnant.
do you do weddings?
Oh, not only that, we do divorcee parties.
Okay, well.
So just full circle.
right.
Oh, full
What are we
Absolutely.
forgetting to ask here? I just got so excited about like kicking the crap out of something.
It's like, yeah, we'll be there for your bar mitzvah too if you
So
want.
I guess so how can they find you on the internet? If I guess they can contact Connect, but how do we locate you if we want to bring you to an event?
Yeah, definitely. So you can always look us on our website, rageround.com, or you can email us, rage@rageround.com. But we're very easy to find online, and from there we have forms to fill out, and then you can contact us. Or our Instagram, rageroundla. Yeah.
And you can go all over the country.
Oh, yeah, we're inside the U.S., outside the
Oh,
U.S.
great.
You want us in Mexico, we'll be there. Like, wherever you want.
Mexico. Tijuana.
So you international
We bring
planners.
you all the fun anywhere you want.
Basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So international planners, doesn't matter.
Hit us up.
If you want to rage,
We got
they're
you
the
there.
ones to
Yeah,
call.
you know, we say we're all the rage, you know. Not to be corny or anything.
And on that note,
All the
all the rage. It has
Hashtag
been
all the rage.
a delight, Edwin and Yaya. Thank you for coming on
Yes.
today, and we hope to see you at an event very soon.
Yeah, definitely. You'll probably see us around somewhere.
Oh yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
I now want to. But
I-
Well, I will be going to break
TV or
some.
somewhere.
I'll be going to break some plates.
Yeah,
Definitely. Are you in
come
LA
visit
or?
us.
Well, here I'll break some
Oh,
plates.
okay.
Now we're making plans. We've got a field trip. We're gonna
Good.
work it out.
That sounds good.
All right.
Nice meeting
yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Take
you
care.
too.
Nice
Thanks
meeting
a lot.
Thank you guys.
Take care, guys.
All right. Thank
Hi.
you so much.
So what's coming up next, and what I like is like the really nerdy logisticsy things, right?
Yes,
so
we got something for everyone.
we've got all these experiential pieces, but a show of this size, I was talking to Nicole and Tinsley earlier, who are kind of the operations team for Connect. And the only thing more stressful than planning an event for attendees is planning an event for event planners.
Yes.
Right? So I think that's why we did that. But then we brought someone from Community Brands showcasing Expo Logic and all the tools. So they are actually doing the on-site badging and working with all the different technology platforms to make sure that something as basic as your badge works, because they have, what, 5, 6? How many segments do they have? You don't know, do you?
How many segments?
Yeah, so how many attendees, and then you had how many different badge instances that you had to print out, like corporate, association?
7. Yep, including the guests.
Oh my goodness. So this is Jeff Baker,
Yes.
everyone. We should introduce him first. Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself.
A little about myself. I have
Singing,
been
dancing, karaoke.
only on weekends after a few beverages, but I have been selling technology solutions to associations for 19 years now. Started out in the fax broadcasting days, like the 3.5-inch disc, put it in to download the software, through webinars, now on the event side of the house. And yeah, still helping associations, but also corporate clients as well with all of their event technology needs.
Great. So, is this the first event that you've done with Connect, or have you worked with them before?
We worked with them last year
Okay.
as well. Yep, that was our first year. We have a good partnership with them,
Yeah.
where we have our booth. We get to still do some of the appointments and things, and we're trying to help them through their technology for all of the badge printing needs, and slowly introducing new technologies as they come about to obviously help everybody at the event, from the planner side, the attendees, the exhibitors, to make sure that everyone gets the most out of it and everyone has the good ROI that they're expecting when they actually show up here.
Right, and it's interesting to note, especially since this is your second year, there's been a lot of changes this year. There's a lot of new things going on at the event. Tell us a little bit about how that's affected with the technology side of things.
Yeah, there definitely have been some changes. The biggest was definitely on the trade show side.
Yep.
Being that it is new for them, we're trying, again, to help them the ways from a setup perspective, but also from the technology side. Wanting to introduce lead retrieval for them. Again, making it easier for the people that are on the floor, whether it's peer-to-peer or it is vendor to planner or otherwise, it doesn't matter. We're just trying to help them make that connection. And leveraging the technology. We don't want to add additional staff for them, additional headaches. We want to take that off of their plates, leverage the technology to do it, like they've done with the chatbots. I think that has definitely helped answer a lot of questions for
So that's
people.
actually a question, because you work with a company where you can integrate and basically have the whole event cloud solution, but you integrate in through the API with Summit Groups, because Connect in particular, they're not using all of your solutions, right? There's about 6 different technology platforms. So how does
Correct.
that work, and how has it been managing all of those different solutions? Is it something you all say, okay, here we're just going to drop off the tech, go with God? Or is it like a real hands-on solution, and that makes it simpler for the event planner to be successful?
Well, they are using a lot of different vendors for the event tech, and I think it's nice to showcase a lot of the different vendors, but it does also create a couple of extra push-ups for them because they have different points of contact for it. From our perspective on the Community Brands event tech side, it's not that big of a deal because we have over 4 dozen integrations to other registration platforms, event apps, you name it, the APIs are there. We're going to be able to make sure the systems talk to one another, do the QA that we need to make sure it all works and talks together. So it's a little more challenging, but it's really not, because we want to test it all ahead of time, make sure it's working. It's a big sandbox. All of our solutions are a la carte. So if you want 2 of them, great. If you want all 7, 8, 10 of them, that's even better.
So, for anyone who is unfamiliar with your other services, what other things could you potentially be doing?
Wow, that's a little bit of a loaded question.
Let's start with lead retrieval and then go from there.
What else could we be doing?
Well, okay, so what are you doing for Connect, and what else could you be doing?
Right now for Connect, we are only doing the badge printing.
Okay.
So that is one reason I'm still wearing my badge, is because we do badge printing, so I have to, of course.
Right.
So the flexibility, printing badges on demand, never having to shut down registration, keeping that up open until someone can register in their hotel room, come down in the elevator, and print their badge instantly. Aside from that, that's really all we are doing for them at this particular event. You had mentioned the lead retrieval. That is one thing that, because they are offering a trade show now, we have had a lot of interest from both sides, obviously from the vendor side, but also from the attendees. It's oh no, I ran out of business cards. I
had that happen to
that.
me earlier, and it was funny because I was sitting there staring right at you. I was like,
scan your badge.
And because I've been 15 trade shows, and they've been doing lead retrieval at the last 10 of them. I'm like, I don't even know what to do right now. I'm literally crippled.
I may or may not have pulled out my phone twice to scan someone's badge that is non-existent QR code. So something like that is definitely going to, it's already on my notes for the post-show call to talk about that. But, I mean, things as far as speeding up the check-in process using QR codes or even face recognition. Upload a photo ahead of time. I see you. I know who you are. Your badge is going to print. A few things like AR, some augmented reality. We've been doing some demos of that recently as well. That can be used for promotion. You know, having Michael Phelps. You know, you send out an email with a little activator in the email. Pull up the conference app, so it makes them download the conference app, so you can sell more sponsorships.
Engagement. Look at that.
It's all about that ROI. Yeah. You can do that. And then Michael Phelps, hey, can't wait to see you all at Connect. Here's what I'm going to talk about. Here's what you're going to learn. You know, see you in Louisville. Did I get that right? Louisville?
Louisville.
Louisville. All right. Yep. So again, things like that help the engagement, help them download the app more, can re-engage with them, send out the notifications, and again, obviously the sponsorships as well.
So you mentioned the facial recognition. Tell us a bit more about, with the badges, kind of what security processes are like now. You know, it's ever evolving right now. I feel like I hear about something new every day for that. What can you tell us about what's coming up and what the facial recognition stuff is like?
Sure. Yeah. So on the face recognition side, we actually have integrated with a partner that does the hard part for us of the face recognition. So they came from the security world. They're used by governments and everything around the world. We are just leveraging their technology for the association and basically the event space side of things. So for that, again, they're uploading a photo ahead of time. We send that to our partner. They do basically the fingerprint for your face, you know, eyes, spaces here, and all of that fun stuff. And then they create a biometric profile for us. The photo then disappears from their system, so they just have a biometric profile. They send that to us. When someone walks up, hey, I see you, I know who you are, let me go ahead and print your badge. So it definitely speeds up the process. For the larger shows, it really helps. But there are some shows where security is huge, and if our clients are normally printing a badge backwards to their staff, they say, hi, welcome, Mr. Baker, can I see your ID? I have to hand them my ID and do all these type of things.
This is Alex's big pet peeve, because we go to events all the time, and he was like, no one checked my badge. It could be anybody, and really it can have a lot of personal information on it.
Well, it can have a lot of personal information, but also, you know, because I work in social media, especially the events that I go to, they say, oh, I can't find my QR code, and they say, well, just put in your last name. And so I put in my last name, and it prints out the badge. They never ask for ID. I walk away with my badge. Well, if I wanted to, I could just go check the hashtag for the event online, see who's on their way, who's not here yet, and then go put in their last name, get a badge, and walk away. And so this idea of not being able to do that is really important, and I don't think we think enough about it, about just the risks involved there. And you know, I've heard from some planners who say, well, no one wants to sneak into my event. But you never know, right? So I think it's I think that part is really exciting for me, especially, So.
And once you check the hashtag, you find out who has the character as their icon. They have more followers than me. Okay, that's the person I'm going to be today. Yeah, and print out their badge. Yeah, so trying to eliminate that, adding the speed, but also that level of security where they don't have to do that, and then you have that kind of combined effect. It's easier, it's faster, it's more secure. Life is good. If they didn't upload a photo and check in with FaceRec, then you still check their ID to make sure.
Well, I mean, all of those things make me feel better about life, but thank you. Is there anything we should have asked you that we didn't ask? How do people get a hold of you if they're wanting to bring this super cool technology to their next show?
Well, aside from walking over here, if they are at the event, if not, then via, I guess, email is probably the best way.
Yeah.
Jeff.baker@communitybrands.com. Or I think you have the Twitter handles and all that fun stuff on there.
We do have the Twitter handles.
Excellent.
On the Twitter, you can find the baker. It'll be really good. All right. Well, thanks for coming in, Jeff. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Have a good one.
All right. Well, it looks like we're going to close the show out tonight with some of our favorite repeat guests, Chuck and Bob from Sensio, who've been managing Connie
the chatbot.
Connie the chatbot.
So if you have not used a chatbot yet, this is one of my favorite things. There's nothing worse than having an event app that you have to open up, then wait for an ad to load, and then you're looking for the feature that you're looking for and you can't find it, and all you want to do is know what time the session starts. And
where is the thing with the thing?
Just tell me. With the thing, right? I just want to ask the question. And we've got two of our favorite guests here to talk about chatbots and what that means for the future of events and how you've worked with Connect. You've done how many Connect chatbots now? All over, right?
Yeah, I was going to say it's been. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for everyone who hasn't familiar with you yet, turn your mics on and then up. For everyone who isn't familiar with Sensio and both of you, can you each introduce yourselves and just tell us a quick snapshot of who you are?
Sure, I'm Chuck Elias. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sciencio. We created the business about 3.5 years ago, and our simple task is to provide instant answers and connection over regular text for events.
I feel like he's been practicing that. That was a very well done elevator
Yeah, I feel like
pitch.
you've done that before.
I wish you to come give me lessons.
We're working on it.
I'm serious. Like, that was so smooth. And then Bob?
Easy peasy. How are you guys? I'm Bob Caldwell. I'm the founding partner at Sciencio, and we're really focused on bringing the easiest possible solution to allow your attendees to get the answers they want in any channel they want, quickly, easily, and literally in just seconds, because that's the way it is everywhere else in our lives, right? No matter where we are, we're all Alexified. So why is it in events you can't just ask a question and get an answer?
Well, no, and that's one of the things. Chuck and I were talking about this, like, I don't know, it was a Biz Bash or Go West, about how yours is actually a thinking chatbot, because one of the biggest frustrations I hear from event planners, or as an event planner, is it only knows what you tell it, right? And
Exactly.
You were telling me that yours actually gets smarter the more questions it comes in. So tell us a little bit about how that works and how Connect's taking advantage of it for planners who think we know everything.
So I think I'll grab this one. I grab this one, right? All right. So there's a back off, baby. This is my central spot. All right. So here's the thing. There's two kinds of chatbots. There's structured bots where you can only ask these questions, 2 or 3 questions. We've all encountered them. They have a purpose, but it's not customer service. So if you're in the event business and someone tries to sell you a structured bot, run screaming from the door.
Is that
right?
like a pre-qualified question? I'm sorry. Is your chatbot structured?
Is your structured? Yes. You got to go. But a deep conversational bot is exactly what you're talking about. What it does is it listens to the hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands or quite literally millions of different ways you can ask a question, and it interprets them, understands them, and then delivers the correct answer that the organizer wanted delivered. And that's a really powerful thing, right? Because sometimes the simplest question, it seems simple, but it's complex, right? Think about, where's the bathroom? Okay, right. We all have that. We got to solve that problem. It seems easy, right? Except bathroom is a synonym for ladies and gents and loo and powder room and washroom and head and a bunch of other stuff. And where's the is a contraction of where is the. Could just as easily say, do you have a, please show me the, how do you get to the, and what you want it is the bot to answer every single possible reasonable permutation of that question. And that's what a good conversational bot does. And it does it at a high level. So our bots are delivering 95% correct response rate across the board, which is kind of crazy. That's better than humans.
I was going to say, I'll ask a volunteer and they won't know where the bathroom is.
Now you've hit my soapbox. There's anxiety there. I want you to come train my volunteers, guys.
You can use bots for that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but I feel like they're the chatbot. The robots are taking over.
I'm okay with that.
You
if
are?
they know more than the people, yeah.
You know what's funny about it is we talk a lot about this, which is what we're trying to build is this human-like conversation, right? Which people are comfortable with, and it's natural, and then we want it to just get smarter, but that doesn't totally take away the need for your team. What it changes is your team is there really, and you invested in them to respond to the most complex, difficult challenges. You don't really want to pay to someone to go, yeah, the bathrooms are over there.
You want
or
them to fix the
check-ins
fire
over there.
thrower or the knife
right.
throwing incident.
You got a really big deal you want to deal with
It's
it.
entertainment,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
Well,
So that's
and-
the difference.
And I think that's important also because one of the things, especially with chatbots, is that texting, right? So you're opting in by texting, which is great because we talk a lot about opting in and privacy and things like that. But also, when there's a crisis, we've talked a lot about this because I talk about crisis communications a lot. Being able to push out that important information to everyone who's interacted with the chatbot is extremely important.
Well, that's exactly right. If you think about it, if something goes sideways in an event, people are not going to go look at their email. They're not going to go, let me go to the app, right? They're not going to go, let me flip through the show guide to see what the emergency communication is. But every single person is going to have their phone with them. How many of us, in a moment of panic, the first thing you grab is your phone, right? Well, the beautiful thing about a chatbot is, especially in the text channel, and of course, bots can be delivered to multiple channels, but in the text channel, we can now give the organizer the ability right from their phone to send out a message. Hey, we just had thunderstorm warnings. The outdoor cocktail party has been moved to the Jefferson room. That can go out to everyone in 3 seconds.
Right.
Right? It's that quickly with a 98% open rate, and 90% of all texts are open within 5 minutes of being
Well,
received.
and that's the thing, and
Music to my ears.
I'm glad you mentioned the different platforms because obviously, as a social media guy, I'm like, put it on Twitter and
Yeah,
Facebook Messenger and everything. But
You're not a social media guy. You're the social media guy.
Thank you. But there is something to be said for texting because even on my phone, when probably 99% of the time I have my phone on vibrate, there is a stronger vibration for a text message than there is for a push notification. And so when I get a text, I know in my pocket I've got a text, and I will check that faster than checking a push notification.
Exactly.
So that actually brings up a question. Do you have to have the Wi-Fi to work or not? Because that's been an event app where the last couple events I was at, it only worked on Wi-Fi. And they're like, didn't you get the push? And I was like, what are you talking about?
No, I think that, first of all, text is the lowest bandwidth that you can use, right? What we do is we integrate text and web, but when we build our web interface, anything that you click on that's a link, what we're going to open up is a really low size, fast to open window. So even if it's over, and it's almost always over regular mobile, it's fast. And if you look at, Wi-Fi is always a problem inside of events.
Yes.
It's actually the number one question most asked
Yes.
at all events. But,
What's the
but if
Wi-Fi?
you- right,
What's
what's
the
the
Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi? And to get an instant, we'll have people, it's great, I'll digress, right? Because we get people that are so excited. We built Connie here is trained on about 100 topics, more than 10 million different ways. You can ask questions around those 100 topics, and we'll go and we'll ask someone, we'll go, what did you ask Connie? And they'll go, Wi-Fi. And they'll say, it was great, I got the answer. Like, that was it? I didn't need her for anything else. And you're just,
No,
like,
but
one
I mean,
need
and it's on the
fulfilled.
back of the badges. That's what I love it. Like, that is such an event planner. Like, you get so mad. You're like, I put it around your neck.
Well, yeah, it's on the back of the badge, and I still had someone ask for the Wi-Fi. I was like, well, did you ask Connie? Because Connie knows the answer.
Yes.
But, I think the next question is, okay, so chatbots are being adopted now, which is great, and people are starting to use it, and you're seeing a lot in customer service outside of the industry. It's speeding up in the industry. You're seeing it more and more, especially from you guys. But what's the next step? I was just at a conference on voice technology. You mentioned us being like Alexified, right? At what point does Connie become hey Connie, what's the Wi-Fi?
So a couple of things. The first thing to understand is Alexa is actually a text machine. You go voice to text. She understands the text, gives the answer back in text, but in the background it turns into voice and reads it out to you, right? So
Right.
all that happens in the background. That's coming. But the reality is that the far more powerful things that are coming and are actively here right now are things like delivering your badge, scannable badge code over text. We did that for an event recently. We had 30,000 people show up for an event. In a 3-hour period, 9,000 of them scanned their badges. They saved over 6,000 minutes of attendee time because they scanned, got their lanyard, and they were off, right? Looking at individualized schedules right here at Connect. If you type in my schedule, it'll tell you your schedule of every single meeting you have.
Really?
It does. Type it in.
I didn't know that.
It does.
No, like
we
I
don't have
wanna try that.
appointments,
Yeah,
so now we need to
no,
like
I
go
have appointments.
steal.
I have appointments.
Oh, that's
tomorrow,
right. You do have
and,
appointments.
Like, my
I don't.
password is 15 characters long, and I can't remember it. So now I'm really excited about tomorrow morning.
Exactly. It's that. And then you take a look and say, okay, well, how about networking, right? You have the ability to very easily search for other attendees, click on them, take notes on your meeting with them, and say, okay, I want to follow up with this guy. You could even exchange information using the bot as the center point of that platform. And I think where we're headed, we just are getting ready to launch an exhibitor bot that is exhibitor focused from the organizer. So now all the questions that you have, we've all been at the trade show where you need to say, hey, I need carpet or a chair or electricity, and you've got the 3-mile walk across the floor. Instead, you can now just text and get the answer automatically.
And we're talking about what's an exhibitor guide look like? 190 pages of 10 different companies.
So
and
are you
forums.
working with like the exhibit? Because I was just at ASAE where we were exhibiting with a client of ours, and it was literally forever away. Are you working with like Shepherd and GES and all of those to like turn it into an on-demand?
Actually, I want to point out Shepherd is our partner on the launch of the exhibitor
Are
bot.
they really? Oh, that's
It's being launched at SGIA this year. It's going to be the world's first AI exhibitor bot, and it is crushing it right now. It's on their website where if you go to launch at their event, and they are thrilled.
You hear that, Hargrove? GES, Freeman, come on. It's right there. They're
Give us a call.
Brought to you today by a chatbot. All right, well, what question should we have asked that we haven't asked? I mean, I feel like there are so many things. Every time we start talking about chatbots, people are getting involved. But what's been the coolest installation? Because I know you work with a lot of the industry events, but I was in Columbus, and they were like Pelotonia.
So Pelotonia.
Your attendees
Pelotonia, by the way.
Oh, excuse me. Your attendees were talking about it. I was at the airport, and they were like talking about the experience and the chatbot, and I was literally in the line laughing.
So Pelotonia is amazing. We have this. They did a local news clip on it, and it's just one of the most, delightful things to see. They're interviewing one of our clients, and they talked about how somebody was texting Tanya to get answers, and Tanya said, if I can't help you here, call the office. They called the office asking for Tanya, and she said, they were disappointed that they couldn't talk
Tanya
to Tanya.
didn't exist.
Tanya's not right.
Well, if you look at the things that we have done just in the past 6 months, we're very proud. We've become the official chatbot of the Premier Lacrosse League, which is the newest professional sports league in America. We did Pelotonia, 30,000 riders. It's the largest cancer ride in the United States. We did NYU's graduation, 35,000 people in Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
The National Restaurant Association, 85,000 people up in Chicago.
So you're just taking it easy, resting on your laurels.
Well,
really taking on
but
the
the flip side is,
challenges.
and everybody says, well, gosh, my event's too small. We have templatized bots that are available for a 300-person one-day session that only cost a couple $100, right? So we have the ability to, and that's the beautiful thing about AI. It is infinitely scalable, right? It's just about getting the information and making it easily available, and we've been super excited. And I do want to say, you have been very helpful to us, helping us understand our social media, because I'm a social dinosaur, right? And I think I'm like, hey, what's a Twitter, right? And you've been so helpful and so helpful in understanding how to master that part of the social universe. So thank you very much for that.
I think it's important, and I love to support future technologies. And the event app companies are going to hate me to say this, but like 10 years from now, I don't think we have event apps. Like, why do you need one when you can use a chatbot and you can talk to your phone and get the answer?
How many show guides do you see?
Yeah.
And we always talk about it. Look, we're not anti-app. We're pro user.
Well,
I don't really care.
I don't
whatever.
think it's just event apps.
Right.
I think all apps are going to be gone in 10 years.
I mean, look, we created the company. I started the company just because I believe that text, as the first point of customer support, is the future. right? If you think about what we do today, we drive people to a website, which was amazing when we did it. Drove them to a website, but how many company apps do you ever download? I used to work for Home Depot. I do have the Home Depot app. Do you think I really ever
I
use
think the Dry Bar app I use most frequently, but that's just
Right.
because I need to get my hair did.
Right.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
So specific companies you get really passionate about, but others you're casual. But so if you think about that, being able to ask a question, get an answer over text, is as the first point of customer support for any company, is really the future. And there's something interesting here that is a big thing that marketers are now having to learn, and it's a different thing, which is most of our marketing campaigns have been built around no one reads anything we send them. They ignore us universally.
There's so much truth
Right?
here.
So if you think about it, what do we do for emails? We send out emails and we go, wow, if I get a 3% read rate, I'm so happy. So what do? We just inundate people. Same thing with apps. What do you do? If you download an app, you'll get 40 messages. Why? Because no one's reading them. So when we talk to marketers, the biggest challenge is, not the challenge, but the biggest change, paradigm shift is, wait, if you have a 98% open rate, whatever you send had better be valuable to your end customer. So don't think about, well, let me send a connect here, 4,000 people. Who are the 250 that want to hear from this sponsor and will engage on that activation? That's really powerful.
So the data behind it too, right? Like if I ask a question about a specific session, right? So say I'm asking, we've got different lounges here, right? There's a marketing lounge I spoke on this afternoon. If I, as an attendee, said, what time does the session start in the marketing lounge? Well, there's going to be sessions in the marketing lounge tomorrow, right? So you can segment and push out notifications specifically to me saying the next session in the marketing lounge starts at 2 p.m. on X,
and
topic.
What you've just hit on is exactly what we talk about, Alex, which is the ability to deliver meaningful content that is personalized in nature, right? So far too often, this is what Chuck was saying, the amount of information that goes out, it's just for everybody. It's like, blah, like today, you know what, a year ago, actually at Connect, we pushed a message out that said, hey, there's a 10% off coupon to go to the restaurants, right? So on the free night. We had a 35% click-through rate, 35% transactional click-through rate to go get the coupons and use those coupons because it hit people exactly when they needed to be hit.
All this data makes my heart so happy.
Oh, we are going to get along.
So the other kind of amazing thing as you think about it is I have the experience of I ran Home Depot's e-business years ago, and my team would come to me and they would say something like, I would say, what did that person want? They say, oh, they wanted a hammer because they bought a hammer. Well, actually, you're inferring that they wanted that hammer. That's what they bought, but that doesn't really mean you know. And it's the same thing in our world today of when we go to a website, we go, oh, we know what they want because they clicked on something. You actually don't. You think you know. But through text, we know every single text. You know who sent it, when they sent it, what they needed, and whether that need was fulfilled. Right? So you have the ultimate information, the ultimate set of data on an individual that you are now able to say, how do I act on that? Wow.
You can't see it on camera. She literally got goosebumps. She got a little marketing goosebumps.
It's a little scary.
It's exciting.
It's like the one ring to rule them all from an event tech perspective, because you want it to be behavior driven. You want it because I go to probably, 100 events a year, and like 3 of them maybe do it well, but not amazing. And there's always something we can find. There's a walking joke that event planners go to other people's events and judge. And like this is that one place because it's always an information gap. So, it's thrilling to hear that we're getting so much closer and really letting the attendee guide their own journey in a way that makes them happy, but also the organizer feel not so much stress and anxiety. And I know we could talk about this for hours.
Forever. So
and we're happy to do so, and thanks for that opportunity.
Oh, my God, you're always a pleasure.
For anyone who wants more information, where can they get it?
Yes.
Visit us at eventbots.com, right? And you can try out the demo. If you want to try it out right now, text demo, D-E-M-O, to 25525. That's demo to 25525. Love to have you. Thank you guys for taking a few minutes with us.
Always.
Thanks for coming to Connect. It's been a great show, and thank you both.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks.
All right, so it looks like we have a squad coming up. So
yeah, so
I think
I'm
you're
going to
getting
step
kicked
out.
off
We're
for
gonna
Women Power.
Women Power.
Women
so I'm
power.
going to relieve the mic and yeah,
All
enjoy
right.
talking
Well,
to these. I mean, I wish I was staying here because I love these.
No,
women,
but we're gonna go and we're gonna do a lot of fun things coming in the next
Yes.
couple of weeks. So you know this isn't
Stay
the last time we
tuned.
see
I
you.
know.
Hi, ladies. Come on in. Am I staying here? Where am I going? I'm scooting. All right. They needed good instructions.
Okay, they told me. I told you.
Make sure your mics are on. Whoa. Did they break something? What happened over there?
Wow. They're cheering for us.
All right. So now we have joining us. Don't take my thing away. Brent, you can't see Brent. He's feeding me all sorts of good information in the back. So we have Shannon. Raise your area. Shannon, Tess. There you are. Francesca. And Rachel. And literally the title is, y'all, How to Put Butts in Seats. I love this title, and I think it's really like one of my favorite ways to end an event icons, because as an event organizer, you find the venue, but you're always like, I got to put people in the venue. And it always seems to be the event planner's job, even though we're there to like order the food, run the AV, and, you know, execute the thing. So tell me, how do we put butts in seats, y'all? Nobody talk at once.
Okay, so I work for a company called Tag Digital, and we specialize in something called event PPC, which is essentially paid online advertising. We use 4 different platforms usually, because that's where we see best results, on Google, Bing, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And we build campaigns on these platforms targeted to specific people, your target audience, using a variety of different things like job titles, specific demographics, remarketing lists, custom data, etc., lookalikes, whatever. And then we use specific copy and call to actions like register to visit or inquire about exhibiting. And yeah, it's very niche targeting. And usually we see a 30% uplift.
Wow.
In the events that we work on, yeah.
30% is real.
How many?
30%.
Well, no, I'm just
ROI.
like sitting there thinking of like the average PPC campaign that we've worked with, where, you know, it's maybe 5 to 10% sometimes, because the targeting, the geofencing you do has to be really very, and so are
Niche
you
and
doing
specific.
activations too that are coming through, and so the ads are following all the way throughout with the
And that's the
remarketing?
retargeting.
That's
Yep.
fantastic.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
the special sauce. So we want to make sure, you know, we get creepy and make
I
sure
love
that
the
the
creepy.
conversion is
Yeah.
happening, because we need those butts in the seats.
Yeah, well, and it's important too, because it's something like, I think it's 8 to 10 interactions before someone will actually make the
True
buy,
story.
because they're doing the research, the considerations. So how do you play into that as well?
Exactly, and that's a really good question. So we build out our campaigns and in different structures. So we have different keywords for top of the funnel, where someone doesn't even know about your event. They're not even looking for an event. They're just simply searching for maybe similar keywords. Then we have middle of the funnel. They're kind of looking for an event. They're not really kind of ready to convert. Then bottom of the funnel could be like sort of branded stuff, and they're actually looking for specific events to go to. So they're more like hot leads, as we would call them.
Right.
So that's how we structure our campaigns. We break them all out. So each of those search campaigns have different keywords listed in them and different messaging, because obviously, like, if somebody's kind of, you're not going to target someone, say, register for my event when they're not even looking for
Absolutely.
an event.
Well, no, and that's a waste of the event organizer's dollars too, right? So
Yeah.
you're just, it's good business sense, and you're helping us really see the
Yeah,
ROI.
It's a nurturing process.
Francesca, tell them all about their proprietary database that you
Oh
have.
yeah, okay. So basically, Tag Digital have worked on over 5,000 events now. So in this year, we always wanted to build a benchmarking tool, and this year it's finally launched. It's our data, so it's only really available to us, but this is how we've got quite a lot of competitive advantage, because a client will come to us and sometimes they have an idea of budget, sometimes they don't. But the benchmarking tool that we have is all historical data that we have from previous campaigns. So basically what this enables us to do is to tell you exactly how much you can expect to pay per exhibitor lead in a specific industry, in a specific region. So say you have a construction event in the Middle East.
Accuracy.
Yeah.
Budget
It's just
accuracy.
like, oh, that just like, there's like Winmo was the only other one that I'd found that was doing it at IEG. And so that really, you know, from scarce events budgets, advertising is one of the things you always have to have, but you must pay for the venue, right? And so like when you're doing that, like so you have a benchmarking tool, you've had at least 5,000 events that you're working with. And so it's accessible to your clients and is part of your
We're
package?
the strategists, right? So we
Oh.
look at all of those keywords. We have over 100,000 of them. We know with definite accuracy what the general cost of that's going to be, so we can forecast what the entire budget is going to look like. And so as you're getting results with those, because you're only paying for what people are clicking on,
right?
That's how you can add more budget into it, because you're getting those results.
So let's take it in, because I want to hit this into the couch,
Yes,
because it
I'm
was
sorry.
actually something that Connect is doing this year. You were leading event tours. Who was doing the? Yeah, I was going to say, tell us a little bit about how you're working with Connect here on site, because it's not only getting butts and seats, it's keeping people occupied and getting them excited, right? So what were the event tours, and how is that a service that Connect's offering to its attendees and exhibitors this year?
Okay, so what we did with Dahlia Plus Agency is we helped kind of redesign and bring technology to the forefront so planners can actually see it. Because as a planner myself, even though I love technology, I know my colleagues might not and get a little afraid around it, but they have to touch and feel it and see it and actually have the connections with the event companies to know exactly what they did. So this time we have tech pods available here. And then what I was doing is, instead of creating and utilizing the deck that I had for my event tech session, I decided to flip it a little bit. I used the headphones naturally, which they were using, the silent headphones for the session, and I took everyone behind here and took them on tours through each tech pod and had them do 1 to 2 minutes, at least a 1 minute spiel about it, so that everyone can see what's out there and that will change their mind around it. And
Y'all, she literally had 50 people.
Yeah,
she was leading around to maybe 25 to 30 exhibitors, gave at least a minute to 2 minute, and like you came by and you could see the exhibitors' eyes light up with joy, because people were like, I throw you a business card. And they were participating in it. There was really a two-way conversation.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I cut you off, but like 40 to 50 people.
Okay.
How do you manage all of that?
Well, I think people need to realize it should be a conversation. So when you're educating people, it should be a conversation, not a talking head. You need to be able to get off of the stage, talk and engage with people, and actually tell them the things that they would like to know. And afterwards, people really appreciated it, because they were running back and forth to appointments, but then they actually had the time to focus on an aspect that they don't really think about all the time. So it was really, really successful.
Or don't have time to think about. So then they're meeting face to face, building those relationships with the vendors who can be their partners.
Absolutely.
So the value was really, really over the top this year.
Yeah, and so if we kind of think about, when we talked about butts and seats, and I know our areas about butts and seats, when we talk about Snowball, for instance, they're talking about pay-per-clicks, which is totally different than what Snowball does, because they work on influencer marketing, which we come in contact with all the time, as influencers in our industry, but how planners can actually get their stakeholders involved on various different aspects.
So let's just take a quick pause, because influencer marketing gets tossed around a lot, I think, inside our industry. What to you all does influencer marketing mean, and how are you seeing it kind of change the way that event marketing is going, especially when we're talking about bringing attendees in and making that a rich experience?
So I'll take that. It's my baby. Influencer marketing, the way I see it, everybody's an influencer. So we saw earlier the session was packed with Andy, and I mean, obviously it's a hot topic and everybody has misconception around it. And we're here to try to tell the event planner, and he said something earlier which is interesting, that they do all this planning and everything, and now they have to market it. And they feel like they have to do it. They don't have to do it alone.
We're control freaks. It's just a thing. It's a habit.
I know, but it's not up to only you to do it. That's what the point I'm trying to drive here is, because you're there to do that, but it also pass on that responsibility to all your influencers, because you have influencers. And when I talk about the influencer, for me, it's your speakers, it's your people who are in the room. They are the one experiencing and sharing and talking about your event. So why don't you empower them with marketing tools that is personalized to them, so they can feel that there's something in it for them? So they're promoting the event and themselves from a speaker point of view, from an exhibitor point of view, and I want to democratize influence. So everybody has the chance to kind of, take that and spread the word about the event and, grow from there.
But I mean, I think that's a very important point. We used to call them in the association space friends of the family, like the ones you could trust to go out and talk about it. But social media, going back to the control problem, that's a lot of responsibility. So I think the event planner goes, well, how will we train them? But you're telling us, why train them? Give them enough tools to be successful, and we trust them. They're friends of the family, right?
So Rachel calls it giving them the megaphone.
See, it's just like the anxiety, but my deep breathing.
The megaphone. But the thing is, because you're giving them something already pre-done to your brand, to your event, so at least you have that control. And at the same time, it's personalized to them because everybody's busy. Nobody has time to do anything, right?
So what are you giving them, Rachel?
Oh, what are we giving them? We're giving them marketing assets in the shape of, could be landing pages specific to the speaker. It's social media, it's emails, it's like anything that they could use and to promote and get the word out.
And content and video to make it the snowball bigger and bigger and bigger.
It's funny because we've actually been doing this already when we gave them a hashtag.
Right. Yes.
And so it's like, you've already been doing it, chill. And that's what I have to tell the crazy voice inside my head. I'm already doing this. Chill.
Yeah. Back of my card it says, keep cool and snowball.
Yes.
No. Exactly.
So what should we have asked you that we didn't ask you about working with pay-per-click, thinking about influencer marketing, getting people excited, putting butts in seats, and keeping them happy while they're here?
Budget, budget, budget.
Ooh,
this
I
is
like
a
it.
real thing. If you are not on digital, you've already been left behind. Your brand is not going to grow, it's going to go extinct. So work with your partners, find out what it costs, budget effectively, and cut the nonsense, cut the noise, cut anything that doesn't bring you butts in seats, because these technologies do.
Just on that note as well, on budget as well, I think a lot of people are kind of apprehensive if they haven't tried something before. Well, sometimes, especially PPC, if you've never heard of it before, you might not really be that keen to invest. But with the benchmarking tool that we were talking about earlier, the one thing that I didn't mention before was the fact that you don't need to know how much money, like some people don't have any clue how much they should spend. So all we need to know is, what's your target? Tell us a number, give us any number, tell us a little bit about your event, your industry, and then we can provide you with a budget that you should spend to be able to achieve those numbers, or with a budget that you have in mind. If you do have that, then we'll be able to tell you an estimated sort of results. Obviously, it's not totally guaranteed, but it's quite accurate of an estimation given the historical data that we have access to.
So it's something where I can take it to my CEO and say, let's start $200. You just pick a random number, $200, and then if we see the results, we can go from there. So it's you're proving the case.
Results.
Ooh, when you see.
Yeah, I'd go with 2,000 rather than 200. Sorry, I'm going to be honest.
Level setting expectations is important.
Honest with you, but that's over maybe about 12 weeks at least. So yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
Budget, budget, budget. This is real. Don't get left behind. Like, embrace reality.
All right. Well, we've had all sorts of amazing guests today. Thank you again, ladies.
you.
We want
Thank
to
you.
encourage everyone to come see us at all of our live shows. A shout out again to Visit Frisco, who provided our amazing pillows so that I didn't fall off the couch. We love you all. Thank you again to our guests. We couldn't do this. And then thank you to everyone who's been watching live that's going to be joining us, that listens on demand. We're going to be live at IMEX America in a couple of weeks, but we've got great content next week and every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. So please make sure that you're joining us live, joining us with fun, joining us with your questions. Find us online at event-icons.com. Find us on the Twitter, the Gram, wherever you social nowadays. I don't know, we're doing MySpace, but maybe you'll help us bring it back. You're not able to make it on demand or live. Join us every Tuesday. Listen on your favorite podcast. If we're not on your podcast, let us know, and we'll make sure that that happens. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for another amazing episode of #Event Icons. To catch all the bonus content, resources mentioned, and an invite to our Facebook and LinkedIn groups, head to www.event-icons.com. Also, let us know what you thought about this week's episode. Share your biggest takeaway. Just tag your post with #Event Icons. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for joining us. We'll see you next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on #Event Icons.